Aid is coming for struggling Jamaicans. This was the assertion made in Parliament by Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, as he outlined a $2.7 billion social intervention package in addition to a $1.1 billion in budgetary support.
The first component, Mr. Speaker, is $750 million for an independence cleanup of parish capitals, of which $550 million will be allocated to the National Solid Waste Management Authority, and $189 million, the total is $11 million short of 750, apologies for that, $189 million through members of Parliament via the Constituency Development Fund, $150 million for the trucking of water. And from the response in this House, Mr. Speaker, you understand that this is a real need. This will be done through the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to facilitate the trucking of waters to areas experiencing water challenges due to the erratic nature of rainfall island-wide, especially the parishes of, and this is by the rainfall data, the parishes of, that's been provided to me, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and Portland, but it's not limited to that. $550 million in general welfare support for non-path beneficiaries. And to achieve an appropriate diversity, Mr. Speaker, $189 million through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, which has a particular targeting mechanism which is complementary to other modalities. And in addition to that, $189 million through the Constituency Development Fund for welfare and economic enablement activities. The municipal corporations, whenever we're doing these programs, we try to ensure they're included. So $70 million through the municipal corporations for welfare and economic support, which the Ministry of Local Government will manage and handle. And the $550 million, Mr. Speaker, also includes $52 million for the Poor Relief Department in the Ministry of Local Government and $50 million through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security Public Assistance Department. We're allocating $550 million, of which $450 million will be for approximately 45,000 NIS pensioners who receive pensions of $15,000 or less per month. We're topping them up, Mr. Speaker. And in addition, that's $450 million, and $100 million, Mr. Speaker, for 10,000 social pensioners. We will be allocating $1.789 billion in back-to-school one-off grants. We will be directing $1.6 billion for 160,000 PATH school-age children, Madam Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in addition to that modality, we'll have $189 million in back-to-school education grants and assistance to non-path, vulnerable students through the Constituency Development Fund.
Dr. Clark noted the additional $2.7 billion in expenditure will initially be funded by advances from existing budgeted resources and will be cleared following regularization of the expenditure in the first supplementary estimates 2022-2023.
The government is listening to the people. And, Mr. Speaker, the government is responding to the people. Thank you.
In his response to the allocation, opposition leader Mark Golding told the House that this was a step in the right direction, but more has to be done.
The throes of ecstasy being expressed by the other side indicates that they think it's an adequate expression of additional support. At the end of the day, $2.7 billion of additional expenditure isn't even a fifth of 1% of GDP. So it's not a huge amount of money to be spending on the society as a whole, given the situation that we're facing with the cost of living crisis that's on the people, the very high levels of gas prices, the high levels of food prices, and indeed the high interest rates that are facing business people and mortgage payers and so on. So, we feel this is a good move in the right direction, but we feel a lot more needs to be done.
Meanwhile, opposition member queried Dr. Clark on the gas relief measure.
The 25,000 per PPV, but you had not announced it in your budget presentation. It has now just come online. If the minister could say why there was such a delay in it, because from when you announced it to the increase in petrol, the variance in the 25,000 to then till now, what had caused the delay?
Dr. Clark explained why.
The labor shortage and the skill shortage in the country is real, and it affects government as well. And the turnover that we have had at eGov is incredible. I mean, they're very employable because these are young people who work in a variety of technology programs, software programs across the government. So they get snatched up the moment they're trained. And so when this thing was announced, the staff complement was severely compromised. There was a backlog of projects. And so that is what took a little extra.
Dr. Clark also gave an update on the uptake by PPV operators.
We've only had 3,000 people. And by application, it's really signing up. Because it's just your name, your TRN, I think your PPV license, information you can sign up in 60 seconds if you have it on hand. So it's really signing up. But we've only had 3,000 so far. So we're going to keep it open until August. Hopefully many more will sign up and receive the payment from the government.